It's real crazy that we are now 22 episodes in to Reincarnated as an Aristocrat, and some people still don't know how great of an isekai this actually is. And with episode 22, it continues on the trend of recent episodes of giving me that intelligent, strategic, military feel that you don't see all too often, especially if you're dabbling in the more magical side of an isekai, because usually it's just a big fireball go burr, and we kind of solve the issues. But not here. We actually have tactics. We have strategy that makes sense, and you can even reference to our own history in terms of how troops were deployed in order to get the jump on people. But most importantly, the way characters act is genuinely intelligent. So just a little glimpse of what I'm talking about. One of the main supporters of our MCRs is Lord Curran. Basically, destined to be the top dog of this world. Like, he is a military force and generally could be the strongest political figure in the world if given enough time and resources. And at one point in this episode, he has a talk with ours, and it kind of is a little intimidating. It's basically like, who the hell are you? You're kind of an anomaly. You can read things in people that no one else can. What are you actually after? Now, if you've actually been paying attention, you know that Lord Curran fully trusts ours. Like, he's probably one of his biggest supporters outside of the central characters that follow him. But when you have your own retainers whispering concerns in his ear, and realistically they probably should, it does seem like a kid could be going after his own throne, or, maybe we can't trust him. But even if it's just because they don't like the kid, at the end of the day, it is a concern that you shouldn't just because your MC's the MC in an isekai, people shouldn't always trust him. And going into this entire situation, most political nobles didn't trust the MC in an isekai, and that's actually really good because at the end of the day, he just looked like some 10-year-old kid. But over the course of these victories, we're building such an alliance, and they continue to introduce new characters that I don't know how they're doing it, but we're going to end up with a couple dozen relevant side characters, and somehow they're all going to be developed if we continue to see the episodes. 22 episodes, and some people still don't know how great of a show this actually is, and not to mention they built the most badass snowman known to man after they got their W and were behind safe walls. It's amazing. Of course, I have those full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my full and thought to any of this Reincarnated as an Aristocrat greatness. It's over there exclusively. So, very big W. So this is where the strategy always I like. We send 50,000 towards the main gate, and 5,000 go from behind. And essentially the goal is we are going to break through, open the main gate, take the whole castle. And when you have a lot of the people like we do, like who is worth at least 100 people, I mean, let's be honest, she's probably worth 500. I think she's just underselling herself. At the end of the day, sending in 5,000 of some of the most talented people in this entire group of 55,000, yeah, it's gonna not go as according to plan as they probably think, because right now, they have a pretty good situation. They're behind tall walls, they're on the defense, it's about to be winter, like, in general, the defender should be the one with the victory here, but because we have a mage who can blast through a wall like it's nothing, yeah, 5,000 men coming in from behind and basically opening up the gates and allowing the other 50,000 to breach through the main entrance, it's pretty much game over, rip bozo. And there's a moment in this episode that literally had tears running down my face. I was laughing so hard. And that's Braham Joe. Best name in a show, I gotta be honest, just pure gold. Immediately when I saw his character design, I thought, we're probably going to recruit him. He just gave me the impression it's a complex character design, that's someone who sticks around. But then I see how he's getting his ass pushed in pretty much immediately by old Reitz. And I was a little concerned. I was like, man, we're not actually going to. Nope, we do. Reitz instinctively starts teaching this man because they pretty much captured everyone. And Braham Joe comes in after I'm waving the white flag, we surrender. And he's like, nah, I want to fight. And the idea that Reitz is just, he's instinctively just out of gut being like, I'm your teacher, I gotta teach you, like, you're better than this. And Braham Joe's like, master, I need to serve you. And ours being ours just goes along with it because he reads into his stats. He's like, hey, some of the stats are pretty ass, but Jesus, he even surpasses Reitz in certain ways. And we end up in a situation where Reitz gets a dog, that's how ours is viewing it, and Reitz's little attack dog is going to get trained to be his natural born prodigy. And the fact that he initially is like, hey, who's this kid? And then when he realizes that it's Reitz's master, he's like, master's master? This is the best day. It's the funniest shit. I was not ready for that. I was not ready at all for that. And the fact that this is something I've mentioned. Naturally, I'm concerned when a show continuously introduces new characters or they bring more characters into the main focus of your main cast, because typically the anime is not going to be able to flesh them out too much. And I think you can look at some of the characters from Core 1, and if you were just looking at the first 12 episodes, half the cast, did they really have the same type of development as Reitz or Muriel? Not really, no. But I love the fact that as we get more arcs, hopefully, we can see that characters who had very little spotlight in Season 1 became major strategists and planners in Season 2, and we actually feel like they are relevant. So this is the type of show that while we confirmed Pham in the previous episode is now being an official retainer, we can bring in Braham Joe as well. This is the type of show, and one of the only isekais that I truly think could have 100 relevant side characters and probably flesh them all out decently. And what I mean is not just relevant in the way we sometimes see them, no, that are a part of the main crew. And I actually think they could pull it off. Not many could, but I think this show truly can. And this is easily one of 2024's best anime, and honestly one of the best isekai you can watch this year. The only issue this show has is sometimes production is pretty mediocre. The thing is, even when the show gets a little more slideshowy, you can see characters just kind of being pushed across, it still ain't the Blue Lock catastrophe that Season 2 of Blue Lock became. And when you do compare Core 1, which aired a few months ago, to Core 2 here, there is a lot more action in this core than there was in Season 1 or Core 1, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, every 2 to 3 episodes there might be an action scene. There wasn't episodes and months upon months of war. So are certain things going to look a little rougher? Sure. But does the show ever look bad? No. The art direction remains consistent. The character models never look like ass. Hell, even when they got 3D horses, I think it looks decent. There is actual great animation when it comes to the flames and a lot of the sword swings. But yes, do sometimes you have these where they're just being pushed around? Yeah, but to be honest, that just makes me think of more like early 90s anime where there was a minimal movement. As long as the full episode doesn't look like PNGs sliding across the screen, having 20 seconds off and on of that happening and then seeing really well animated magic attacks and stuff, I really am not going to sweat the details. I think it's acceptable, but that's just me. Besides some nitpicking I can do and sometimes being like, yeah, they could have animated that better, I still think for how much action we've got, I'd rather focus on the positives and say bravo versus, oh my god, it's Blue Lock Season 2 animation, because it really ain't. Let me know your thoughts and feelings though down below. How crazy is it to you that we are now 22 episodes in and some people still haven't realized the greatness of Aristocrat? Your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell. Like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Daniel, Lion Chow, Marcus Ruchers, Elias Cortez, Jose Raffo Caster, LG12677, Cuds, L, and we also have Doc. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.